Hello and welcome to Sheer Edge Training. Today we are talking to Simon Frere Cook, and he is Event Director for Plantworx. Hi Simon, how are you?
Hello Karen, very well, thank you, very well.
Good, thanks for joining us today. It's nice to have you on screen with us.
It's a pleasure, and hope wisdom will come.
Lots of wisdom's going to come out of this conversation today, I'm sure. I've got a few questions just to ask you, because I know people have been messaging me and messaging us about Plantworx, the show, and just to get a little bit more information about how you run it, organise it. Before we get to that, can you just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, your background, and where you've got to today?
Yes. I spent quite a long time in the army, 23 years to be precise. And left that and got involved with farming because my mother's family are farmers in Lincolnshire. And from there, I fell into the agricultural show world, starting with Lincolnshire Agricultural Society and then moving on to the Royal Show. So that was my induction, as it were, into events. And when the Royal Show finished in 2009, Plantworx was being talked, well, not quite 2009, because I stayed on with the Royal Agricultural Society for a few years as their company secretary. But when that all folded and reduced to just one man and his dog, as it were, in 2012, because I was working at Stoneleigh, Plantworx had been dreamt about, and I just fell straight into running the Plantworx show, the first one at Stoneleigh in 2013. And from there, we've done 4 now, and we're now preparing for the 5th.
Oh, indeed. So it's all good timing, really, wasn't it? Your background, where you were, and then kind of being in the right place at the right time for Plantworx.
It was a couple of midlife changes, rather catastrophes, but yes, I had a second career in the events industry, really.
Lovely. Can you tell us a little bit about Plantworx, the show, kind of what it is, who's interested in it, who attends, just to give us an idea about the size of the show?
Why does Plantworx exist? Well, it's run by the Construction Equipment Association, for the industry, by the industry as the strapline, and it's all to do with construction equipment, whether that's big diggers, little diggers, plant tools, widgets, whatever goes on a construction site, as it were. And the show used to be called SED, Site Equipment Demonstration, but that had run its course and had folded. But out of the ashes always grows something else, and this idea for Plantworx grew. And it is very much a working show, so working demonstrations of dumpers, diggers, and all sorts of other bits of machinery. So we have to find a site where we can dig big holes and indeed have indoor stands for the smaller ones and all the elements that go in a construction site. Who's it for? It's the manufacturers of all the equipment. And we're not talking about the huge stuff, so it's sort of medium size downwards, because we do have a maximum stand size of 36 meters by 24 meters. So the great thing about that is it's not dominated by any one or two companies who have the biggest budgets. And that, I think, is very important. There's a very level playing field there. So the manufacturers come along. We put a lot of emphasis on innovation in whatever form, new ideas, particularly safety, gadgets, and environmental credentials, etc. The users are there. It's put on for them. Who are the people who are going to buy this kit and use it? And the great thing about having the demos there is you can go to a one-stop shop show where, let's say, 20 companies manufacturing a particular piece of equipment are all there on display showing it off. And if you've got the right operator's tickets, you can go and play on that machine at the show under supervision. So it's also there for the hire companies. And there are many companies out there who have hire fleets, and what are they looking for? What's the latest technology, et cetera, et cetera. So while it's not the biggest show in the world, we have about 400 exhibitors. We attract in the region of 13 to 15,000 visitors over 3 days. But it's the business to business that is important. And they all do a lot of business.
I think the interesting thing there that you said is that people can actually go and test the equipment before they buy it. So if they've got their correct licenses, they've got the correct PPE on, they can actually sit and have a go on the latest diggers and dumpers. And people love that, don't they? They love to try before they buy and just, see what's out there.
Yes, and it's not just about them trying it, because of course each of the manufacturers will have their own demonstrator team there who can actually put these things through their paces. And I've seen some wonderful demonstrations over the shows. You think, crikey, how on earth does that machine do that?
Yeah.
Good operator. They are superb.
Is a show open to everybody? So is it anybody, or do you need to be a member? Who can come along?
No, it's open to anybody. Anybody who fits the category of the construction equipment. There's no second-hand stuff, so it's all manufacturers and new products. Otherwise, we'd be inundated with second-hand stuff. And we're promoting innovation, as I've mentioned, through our innovation awards all the time. So it's cutting-edge stuff. We do it every 2 years because we alternate with another show called Hill Head, which is run by a publishing company, and that's in a quarry up in Buxton. And that's every other year. Because every 2 years, there's plenty of new stuff. Every year, there isn't perhaps enough appetite for that. And also, we have to respect exhibitors' budgets.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the cycle works very well.
And it gives visitors chance, doesn't it, to kind of plan what they want to do. If they know they've got one show one year, one the next year, you're going to get kind of a steady flow of people coming to the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
So with a show of this size, how do you, as the event director, start planning for this kind of show?
Being an ex-military chap, the most important thing is, what is your aim? What are you trying to achieve? And be very clear what the aim is. Once you've got that, then you can build on it and work out your team. So we're very clear what we're trying to do. It's these working demonstrations are fundamental to it, and giving a platform for all the exhibitors to showcase their products. We then have to design a team or build a team who are going to put this on. Obviously, we have directors from the CEA and an associate company called CE, Construction Equipment Events Limited, who set the strategy for it. And then I, as the event director, sit below them and implement that strategy with a team. So give us plenty of time to get our ducks in the line, as it were, to get our marketing team set up, because without marketing, nothing goes anywhere. Marketing is fundamental. Of course, finance dictates everything because we have our budgets. I tend to look after the operational side because that's more of my background, but then I'm an operations manager who does the work on the ground with a team that he selects to deliver it for the exhibitors and indeed the visitors. We have press and publicity, and we have administration, because there's an awful lot of office work, things like the website and collecting forms and making everybody's got what they want. And then we work out a timetable. Of course, the most important thing is finding a venue, and we have an excellent venue now at the East of England Arena, an event at Peterborough, where we're allowed to dig. There are constraints there because it's an old showground, but we can work around all that. So working very closely with the venue, with the exhibitors, a lot of liaison with them as to what they want to do, a very good marketing plan. That takes two forms: marketing to the exhibitors, because without them, nothing happens. But equally then, making sure that we market to potential visitors, because without visitors, the exhibitors don't get the business. So the two sides, and it's a team effort to get all that together. And I oversee all of that and the team meetings, etc. But we're very lucky with Plantworx. We're a small team, but we all understand our jobs. We all understand what the others are doing. And teamwork is so vitally important to it.
Yeah, I was just going to pick up on that actually for a show of this size is actually quite a small team, and lots of the team are freelancers, or they don't work on it full time, and a lot of them don't work in the same office. So it's quite challenging, I'd imagine, to keep people motivated and to keep the event planning running smoothly.
Well, I think importantly, we've got to have milestones in the 2 years leading up to it. When are we planning to start sales? And it's not necessarily our decision, but we've got to know when the exhibitors are ready to buy their stand space. Visitors, of course, we keep in touch with them all the way through, but actually we don't worry too much about the visitor campaign until maybe 4 to 6 months out. And then that ramps up very quickly and huge push towards the end to get everybody there. But I also draw up what I call is known as a Gantt chart. When doing various activities as we go along. And that's particularly important once we arrive on site for build-up. Because the last thing we want is people saying, when's that marquee going up? Or when's this happening? When's that happening? Look at the Gantt chart. And by liaising with our contractors, with whom we have excellent relationships, and we have contractors meetings, they all meet each other, they all work together. We know we can't put the electricity in before we've done such and such, or the trackway mustn't go down before the electrical cables go in because they have to go underneath it. So it's getting all that sorted out. And an old military expression, time spent on reconnaissance is never wasted. Time spent in planning is never wasted, because it's so good getting the week before the event and thinking, crikey, I haven't done that. Can we delay the week? No, we can't. We have a deadline in the diary. We have to be there, ready.
And that's what I was just going to say, actually, that we're talking to you because the course that we're running is Introduction to Event Management. So the people that are on this course are either new to the industry or kind of have just started out or want to get into it. So that's actually a really useful tip to say that you're never going to lose anything by planning. Keep planning. So actually, when you arrive on site for whatever the event, you've got everything sorted. You know what you're doing. If somebody asks you, you know what you're doing, because there's nothing worse than being, oh my gosh, I don't know where I am. I don't know who this is. Like, you need to be calm and in control when you get onto site.
Yeah, one of the things we're very strict about with Plantworx is because we do cover a large area, probably about I can't remember what it is, about 400,000 square meters, with all sorts of stands of shapes and different sizes. Our sales manager has to have a site plan before she starts selling. And I've worked on other events where you say, where's the site plan? And it changes. And I just don't know how they do it. But we have the site plan, which we've all agreed. We've run it past some of our major exhibitors to make sure they're happy and it's going to work. And once that's published, it does not change, because the knock-on effect is enormous.
Yeah, I think that, again, another really interesting thing that you said is about kind of keeping in touch with people. So keeping in touch with your exhibitors, keep in touch with your suppliers, because if they're happy and informed, they're going to be happy and responsive on the day. That there's nothing worse than an exhibitor turning up and they don't know where they're meant to be. They don't know what size their stand is. They've turned up at the wrong time. Actually, that communication to them and keeping them informed is essential for a smooth operation.
Yeah. We have an exhibitor manual, which I look after, but again, everybody has input into that. And the answers are in read the manual, and you'll know where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, how you're going to get there, and how it all goes together.
Yeah, I think that's another really, really good point to make, isn't it? That when you're planning an event, you either need an FAQ section on your website or you need a manual or some description, because every question that you're asked by an exhibitor, 99% of the time, another exhibitor is going to ask it. So actually get everything down in one place and send them to that place to answer that typical question. Otherwise, you'll spend all your time answering the same questions, like what time can I get on site? What time is this? Put it all down, and then you save yourself a lot of extra work by just getting it written down.
I lost count of how many emails I had for the last show saying, what do I do about this, that, and the other? My answer is very simple. Here is a copy of the manual. You're on page 24, paragraph, whatever it is.
Please go and read it. And then come back to me if you haven't got any other questions.
Yeah.
So talking about the show that's happened in 2019, were there any issues prior to the show or during the show that you hadn't anticipated? And if there were, how did you overcome them?
Yes, we had a few issues, which were quite testing, one of which was sorting out the site plan. But that was down to liaison with the venue management team, because there are an awful lot of underground services, water pipes, electricity cables, communication cables, and they weren't plotted terribly accurately on the site. But we had to work around that, particularly, and I've referred to our digging plots.
Yeah.
On day one, we hit an unknown pipe in one of them. It turned out to be a disused Second World War fuel pipe, because apparently the site was an airfield during the war. Well, that caused a bit of disruption.
Yeah.
We hit a couple of electrical cables. Fortunately, they were inert, but we had turned everything off in that area, so that was, as it were, but we still had to investigate. And the worst one was a 4-inch water main. It wasn't where we thought it was and where everybody else thought it was, but it was many feet out, and that got hit. But it was sorted out within half an hour. So we've now had a full underground survey of the site done, so we know more accurately where everything is. That's not to say there's something else lurking under there. So
who knows?
Very testing.
Yeah.
Also in build-up, we had to share the site with an international cycling event. And they were on the weekend before we really got going. And that caused us quite a lot of inconvenience. Actually, by working with them, we all got round everything, and we ended up as good friends afterwards. We're going to have the same problem next time round, but we're the wiser for it.
Yeah.
What else? Forms, paperwork, exhibitors not filling in the forms, not doing them legibly, not sending them on time, risk assessments. Some people still pay lip service to it. They are very, very important. Yeah. Because it allows us as the organisers to understand what is going to happen on site, helps our health and safety people particularly. The weather. In June, it should be all right, but no, Plantworx always attracts the rain.
Yeah.
We've had horrendous weather.
It was horrible, wasn't it? Like that for 2 weeks of solid rain. You can't...
Luckily, we were on a site, lots of tarmac. So, but in 2017, we were in a grass field. Day one, it was raining, and the big marquee for the indoor stands, they were all perishing cold, so we had 2 cups of tea, etc. Day two, the sun shone. They wanted the air conditioning turned on. What do? It's an outdoor event. All I can say is to people, whether they're exhibitors, visitors, or whoever they are, come prepared for an outdoor event.
It's the best advice to give, isn't it? That, you've got to be in sensible gear, be prepared to have a coat, prepared to have your sunglasses, have a hat, because you just don't know what's going to happen. But I think what you've said there about issues is that obviously you need a strong plan and a strong team, and a lot of those issues you overcame on the day because you got a strong operational team already in place who knew how the chain of command worked, knew what to do. So that obviously makes an event a lot smoother if you've got a team in place that are, fully up to speed with what's going on.
I think you touched on a phrase there, Karen, the chain of command. I sit there as the event director. Obviously, I have the directors with the capital D above me, but at the end of the day, I'm in charge of it. And everybody knows they can go to one person to get a decision. And all work in a sort of pyramid type. Yeah. If you don't have that pyramid with that one person at the top and it's all too flat, then that's when the decision-making process or the support for the other members of the team doesn't necessarily come as it should do. So the chain of command is very, very important.
So for anybody that's new to the industry or just starting out or just wants to know a little bit more, what would your top tips be for successful operational delivery of an event?
Be clear on the aim. Get yourself a good team of people who you can trust, who know what they're doing and will work together. and communication between the whole team. And by that, it's not just us in the office, as it were, it's all our contractors, it's our exhibitors, and indeed to an extent our visitors, and get the press on side. And if everybody works to that common goal, then you'll get there. And be organised.
Be organised. That's it, isn't it? Be organised, have everything, know what you're doing, like you said, know what your aim is. And so just one final question. What do you enjoy most about the event industry? Because obviously you've moved from your career in the army to a career in events. What do you enjoy most about it?
Probably when it's all over.
going to the pub at the end.
No, that's sad. I enjoy the teamwork that goes with it. Everybody working together to deliver something that the exhibitors want, that the visitors want, that the industry wants, and being proud in what we deliver. And I think we can take a lot of pride in what we've achieved with Plantworx. I remember the first one in 2013 on day one, and we'd had quite a lot of problems with the build. But one chap who was fairly senior in the industry said, "How long's this show been running?" I said, 4 hours. He said, no, how many years? 4 hours.
Yeah, just 4 hours.
Cannot believe it. It's so well organised. You've got to be organised, because otherwise when things start going wrong, that's when the train will crash. But I love doing it. I love working with everybody as a team and delivering it on time, to budget, and having a good party afterwards. Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? If you can, once it's all done, it's that afterwards, the breather, the knowing that it's all gone well, having a chat as a team, having a debrief, and then getting ready for the next project. So yeah, it's important to celebrate the success afterwards and pat yourself on the back.
The other thing I do at the show is, because I'm not really involved in the detail, because we've got the team who do that, but it's up to me as the event director and to look forward to what we're going to do next time.
Yeah.
Have it in your mind. And if you want to change things around, don't be afraid to talk to people, whether they're exhibitors or visitors or whatever, about your thoughts for the future.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is a team effort. With exhibitors, it won't happen. Without visitors, it won't happen. We're just the people who put it together.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
we have a vision for it as well.
Yeah. We did an interview with somebody who's got a customer engagement program, and he was saying about like the feedback side of things, and that's really important for during a show and at the end of a show, is to know actually what people's thoughts are, whether that's the team or your suppliers or your exhibitors, and then to hear what actually they want you to work on for next time, because these are the people that are going to come to your show. So what do they want to see? What do they want to improve upon? And then you can fulfill their wishes and say, right, we've listened to you. We're going to have an innovation section. We're going to have a robotics section. We're actually going to listen to your thoughts. So yeah, that's important, isn't it? Just
very important
in that feedback.
Very important. Shows have to evolve. And if you don't evolve from one to the next, and you become a bit stagnant, and then when it's time for change, it's revolution, and people don't like that. We're all very happy with evolution. We don't like revolution.
Yeah. Well, Simon, thank you so much for your wise words and thoughts and comments. I think, anybody watching this, Plantworx is such an interesting show to have a look at. You can look at it on their website. The next show is in 2022. But between now and then, there'll be lots of information going out about it. But yes, thank you, Simon, for your operation.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Really Thank you. We'll see you soon.
And good luck to Sheer Edge.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.